a Gibson Marauder. I've never seen one before. This is a bolt-on neck. Instead of the sort of classic Gibson toggle switch, you've got a pot here going from treble to rhythm. You've got this, not a tunematic, but you've got the bridge there with the things with the saddles, and you've got volume and tone, and yeah, you got the tailpiece too. Let's look at the back. We have, yeah, bolt-on neck, like I say. I've noticed that the neck feels not very nice. It's a bit, I don't know, feels stippled or dimpled or something like that. We have Gibson, am I reading that correct? Yes, absolutely. Gibson tuners. And what else can we say? Yeah, the frets are not in the nicest condition. They are pretty much just squared off. So I'm going to try to round them. However, they're also quite low. So rounding them, yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky, I suppose. Not too bad. But hoping to get it all nice and cleaned up. Get rid of the dirt and the corrosion. And we'll see a kind of a whole new playing experience. Gonna fit them with 11s and see how we get on. Just in the middle of cleaning up here. And I just love to show off these pickups. I kind of like this. Here's a humbucker. I think this is a single. I mean, with the various rails there, it looks like it could be a humbucker. But then when you look inside, I don't know if you can tell, it looks like there's one coil of wire. Now, whether or not that's two coils stacked up, I really don't know at this point. I love the covering here. This is, I guess it's some kind of epoxy. When we open it all up, we can see the underside, and obviously not as glamorous. If you take a good look in there. Is it two coils? I don't think it's two coils. It looks like it's two... Looks like it's two bars with a big coil on the top. I don't know. I don't really care. Definitely a humbucker there. That's fine. We've got our selector pot there. We've got our volume and tone. They cleaned up all right. They're a tiny, tiny bit scratchy. There's the jack socket. What I liked about the jack socket is that for the age of this thing, it's still nice and tight. And you can tell there is a shake-proof washer underneath there, which is always a good thing to have. Oh, just noticing too that if you're in any way electrically inclined, you might notice that going to the output jack, there's a single wire. Now that's just going to be your live carrier or your signal. And here, where you'd normally have the screen portion, well, that is being handled by this conductive surface here. So the pot backs, and the socket themselves, all of that connection, that whole ground connection is being sort of shared through here, which from a wiring perspective is kind of cool because it actually minimizes the chance of ground loops. Now, when you are doing this, you need to make sure you've got a really strong and stable connection right here, because otherwise you're just going to start to lose your signal if that gets a bit loose. So you'll find this design in a lot of guitars. They'll have that, you can see that it's, they're all sharing a ground connection there, but you'll also find a wire leading from here to, to either the pot backs or the main signal, ground or whatever, and that's just kind of like a backup. But that can actually cause ground loops in some way. Cleaning this. What am I using? Well, it's this stuff. It's just mineral oil. I am slapping it on, slathering it, just getting it all in there. The wood felt a little dry to me, so I'm just getting it all in there. I got it earlier with the scratch plate on, and I'm going over it all again with a little bit of oil. It will not do any harm. I'm not sure what the finish is on this thing. It's very, very light, whatever it is, but it was very dusty. A little bit dirty. So this mineral oil is pretty good for just acting not so much a solvent per se, but just it helps you to lift some of the grime, some of the dirt. Look at me just throwing things around like I'm Don Quixote. I have no idea who that is. Yeah, mineral oil is nice for all this stuff, and it kind of wipes off and it nourishes the wood a little bit, I suppose. I mean, we do have a bit of a finish there, but maybe it's very thin or it's been worn through or something. I don't really know at this stage. I don't really care. That's all encyclopedic stuff. I really don't think that mineral oil is going to harm whatever was on here. That's the beauty of it. Notice as well it's on my bare hands. I mean, mineral oil is basically baby oil without any kind of additive stuff. So add that to your list of secret tips and tricks. Okay. Gonna use some of that good old mineral oil on the fingerboard too. It's a nice, gentle kind of cleaner, especially when you get on to this sort of varnishy maple thing. Now, it's not aggressive. It's not very aggressive, so it maybe takes some of the sting off the cleaning duty. But generally speaking, what you'll go for next is lighter fluid. Notice the gloves. This stuff really dries out, or it can really dry out your skin. It's not the worst, but prolonged use, your skin starts to crack. So it's a pretty good cleaner. Although in this example, it may not be doing that much good because it does kind of help to have two hands when you're not holding a camera. But hopefully you get the gist. I'm just hoping hoping to get it to work some magic so you can see. But generally speaking, now you got to get in there and really concentrate so the camera goes off. Lighter fluid really wasn't doing it, even with some two hands and aggressive approach and all that. So I've got this cream polish. Now the polish itself is a sort of a mild abrasive, so it's getting in there and it's trying to tear away some of the dirt. I imagine it's very difficult to tell what's happening right here, but it is actually making a difference. And again, you probably want a two-handed approach on this just to kind of keep the guitar from moving around, because if you put too much pressure, that's happening. So that's what the other hand is for, really. If you were thinking, what do you need two hands for? Well, that's that. So yeah, this seems to be the sort of the correct way to go about this for getting a nice clean look, as opposed to a not so clean look. Look at the shine. Ooh, so shiny, yeah. Ooh. It's coming along really nicely. Look at that. There's even almost a mirror shine going on there. After I had a pass on the body with the whatchamacallit, the mineral oil, that's the word I'm looking for. I then came along with it and did the thingy with the stuff there, and that has come out really nicely. As I was putting it together, upon further inspection, the volume pot needed to be replaced. It was sort of working, and then just cut off all entirely. So now there's a smoother taper the whole way along. I couldn't tell what value it was, and it was hard to tell the value of what that pot was too. So I put in a 500K there, just for a little bit more bite for today's modern kids. You punk rock, oh, shut up. So this is all back together. It's all right. The fingerboard is nice and clean. I still need to round off the frets, but I mean, cosmetically everything is looking fantastic so far until it get to the headstock, and that's kind of gross. It's just a buildup of dirt and whatnot. So I'm going to do the same that I did with the fingerboard and the body. I'm going to use some of the polishy stuff, but what I'm going to do first is flip it over and get these tuners off so that I can just go at it with a nice easy action going along all in there, rather than going around there and leaving all gross bits. So yeah, and here is the headstock looking all nice and shiny. And here is the fretboard looking good too. I've leveled the frets and rounded them off. I don't know, have I really made a huge difference? Tough to tell when they're wide and low like that, but at least they are level. I had to file a little bit aggressively down in the tongue area here, but I mean overall, look, it's really starting to look nice. Ta-da! it is finished. It's all set up, and I must say, it is looking really well. Far cry from what it did when it came in. I mean, it looks, I wouldn't say it looks brand new, but it certainly looks nice and sort of vintagey, that's for sure. Let's see, pros. Well, it's good. It's nice. It's a lovely old thing. I mean, bought in 1978. A little bit of local history. Bought from Marcus Music in Belfast. No longer there, of course. The cons, right? Well, I mean, it's an older guitar. The frets are quite low, like I said originally. They're big, nice, wide, and I like the wide frets. But when they are this low, it doesn't feel that great. Your fingers are still sort of dragging along the fingerboard there. And over in the in the widdly section, at times when you go to bend a string, it's kind of difficult to sort of feel what's going on because it's so low there, but ultimately it's quite nice. It's quite a mellow sounding guitar. I know I bang on about big chunky frets and nice nice sort of springy attack and all that, but even with either pickup, it's a kind of a sort of a mellow sound for what it is. So that's quite nice. I mean, I suppose it's what you would expect, almost from like an Epiphone type of thing. But we've got the real Gibson thing going on here. And I think that's all I'm going to say about that. There's the back. It looks all nice. It is good. So there is a Gibson Marauder. Now, all in all, that took a little under 5 hours to get done from start to finish with a fret level and a setup and a cleanup and a new pot and taking the tuners off to get this all nice and nice. So yeah. Thumbs up for a good job.